So here's a story that might come as a surprise to some folks. Majority of U.S. Muslims now support gay marriage, while evangelical Christians remain opposed. That's interesting. So they say opposition to same-sex marriage has decreased across a broad swath of religious groups in the United States, with white evangelical Christians one of the few movements for which a majority remains in opposition. 3 years on from the Supreme Court ruling that same-sex couples should be allowed to marry, the findings from the Public Religion Research Institute's 2017 American Values Atlas, published Tuesday, showed growing support for LGBT rights, including a majority of U.S. Muslims backing same-sex marriage for the first time. Muslims, by a margin of 51% to 43%, favor same-sex marriage compared to just 4 years ago when a majority, 51%, were opposed. There were similar results for black Protestants, with 54% opposing gay marriage in the 2014 American Values Atlas, compared with 43% in the latest findings. Indeed, opposition to same-sex marriage is now limited almost entirely to white conservative Christians, 58% of white evangelical Christians, and 53% of Mormons. An overwhelming majority of whom are white are opposed to allowing gay couples to marry. The group with the most opposition, though, is Jehovah's Witnesses, a group that is 36% white, 32% Hispanic, and 27% black in the U.S. Just 13% support the law. It's been law of the land for 3 years, which, by the way, wow, time flew. I feel like it was just recently that gay marriage became legal, but 3 years ago now, and the opinions just continue to go in favor of gay marriage. Right now, it's 64% for the entire country, and that's just going to keep going. Eventually, it'll be 85%, 95%. That's going to happen as time goes by. So it's a good thing, but this might be damning with faint praise a little bit, because if it's 51%, that's the slightest majority imaginable, and that's still dragging behind. Like, they didn't include non-religious people in this poll, but I have a hunch that if you included non-religious people, it'd be over 70% of non-religious people who are like, yeah, gay marriage, totally fine. Probably over 80%. I'm just guessing, but that's an educated guess, because, again, there doesn't seem to be a logical reason to oppose gay marriage, other than if you believe on some level a religious book. So when you decouple a human being from the mysticism and voodoo in these books, well, then very quickly they go, yeah, I don't know, treat them equally like anybody else. So yeah, gay marriage is fine. So it is damning with faint praise here a little bit, but at the same time, it is fascinating that Muslims support gay marriage more than white evangelical Christians. And you could speculate as to why that is. My guess, and this is just a guess, would be since Muslims are a minority, they're only about 1% of the population in the U.S., maybe less than 1%. Since they're a minority, they understand the notion of not being in the dominant majority culture. So since that's the case, there might be a feeling of brotherhood or sympathy with other minorities who are not in the mainstream. So that would lead them to be a more understanding of the struggle of being in a minority community. So that's interesting. A majority of U.S. Muslims now support gay marriage. And I think that, again, as time goes by, you're going to have all these other, all the religious groups slowly but surely catch up to what non-religious folks usually believed all along, which is, yeah, treating gays equally is the right thing to do.